What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what's moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor is up 0.57%, 673 the low, 707 the high, and 44 million shares being traded. So extremely low volume. When it comes to macro data, didn't really have all that much, although we did have initial jobless claims coming in at 236, forecast of 205. So that wasn't the greatest. And the market still wants negative data because then that, of course, would justify a cut for January. This wasn't this is a little excessive, right? So it's kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears or whatever that story is. We want slightly negative, not horrifically bad. We don't want positive. So this one kind of falls under the kind of excessively bad. This is why you had a little bit of a push lower. Interestingly enough, though, we did get the 25 basis point cut yesterday, and Powell did allude to there being some kind of fears from the housing market. So clearly that's going to be a priority. And I think generally that was probably going to be the case anyways, but you would have figured with what was stated yesterday, Opendoor would just shoot up. But unfortunately, based on all of this, you're seeing a certain level of hesitation. Yesterday, unfortunately, I didn't do a video, but shorts were the primary culprit on why Opendoor didn't really kind of break out, and they started to really double down your power hour. Today, they are rather timid, so they are increasing 265,000 shares. 14.09% at the free floats being shorted, works out to be 110 million shares overall are being shorted. Short score 54.72. Higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. But overall, you can kind of see that shorts have returned a significant amount since kind of the October highs, but still there's a fair amount. So I know a lot of people are still calling for a Opendoor squeeze, and potentially if the market starts to and continues to get more negative labor data, then maybe they'll start pricing in a January cut as well. Aside from all that, looking at the options, 5.9 million in calls, 1.04 in puts, and then 50% of all the options being done are bullish in nature. So behind the scenes, there's a certain level of optimism that Opendoor is going to move higher, and roughly between that 750 and 8, that's where kind of the bulls are feeling it will go to. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub kind of $6. Today, there really hasn't been that much in news from Opendoor, no SEC filings. Today, the market's digesting kind of Powell, a lot of those comments, and Oracle's earnings. That's kind of causing a certain level of suppression, at least among tech stocks for the most part. But aside from that, though, it's somewhat evenly divided. So these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So everything with a ask is a buy, everything with a bid is a sell. So again, somewhat evenly divided of sorts. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool above $100,000. And so shorts love to use the dark pool, and this is how you do have some changes. So I believe I brought this up in my last video, but 2 times per month, you do have the exchange actually disclosing the true amount of shares being shorted. It's always delayed, mind you. So as of November the 27th, there was 112.9 million shares being shorted, and that works out to be 14.43% of the free float. So this was disclosed on December the 8th. So again, kind of delayed information, but that does go to show between November the 13th and November the 27th, shorts returned roughly around 15 million shares more than what we previously thought. So in general, that's kind of something to pay attention to. So that does mean right over here, when Opendoor was kind of flat, shorts were taking advantage and returning primarily through the dark pool. This is why I always bring this up every single video. I know it might seem tedious, and at the time it might not seem important, but this right here is shorts hiding a lot of their transactions. Aside from that, with it at 706, trading between this pivot and this S1, 692 is going to be a strong support, followed by 671. So it kind of bounced off of this general area, this S2. And as I've mentioned over the last several videos, if you're dollar cost averaging, just kind of place your bids somewhere close to these. support points, and then that's kind of the best way to do it. So this S2 we do know is a very strong support. Flip side, 725 and then 759 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. Aside from all of that fun stuff, quickly popping right over here on the actual chart itself, you can kind of see it's still stuck in limbo. Even though it's starting to kind of move higher with the broader market, still is below that 10-day moving average. So tomorrow is going to be a big day. It really needs to close above that 10-day moving average if we're going to see that 50 anytime soon. Unfortunately, you had Opendoor really trying its best to really get above that 50-day moving average on and off since November the 24th. It's failed to actually close above it. So that's going to be pretty much the main target for tomorrow. And currently that is sitting at right over here, 756. So something again just to kind of keep in mind, but you do see a lot more willing buyers, so that's always a positive thing. That's what you need for a momentum play, is a lot of buyers. Unfortunately, a lot of those buyers are like 680 and below for kind of the bids. This is why, again, you're seeing kind of low volume today, but there really hasn't been that much in news associated to Opendoor, nothing being posted on social media. So Opendoor has been merely piggybacking off of the broader market. And like I said, despite the lower volume, I think Opendoor is holding up fairly well. There hasn't been any new analyst ratings on a side note. So let me know your general thoughts on Opendoor. Are you still bullish? Are you bearish based on Powell's somewhat comments? Like, what's your overall thoughts on Opendoor? And I know I've brought this up time and time again, especially would have made a lot of money when it was roughly around this price point. But when the market is feeling that things are going to go down, if you buy a long call, this is how you can make some solid money. So for instance, if you feel it's going to go to even 850, which is a 21% increase from the common stock, if you feel it's going to go there by, let's say, end of January, for instance, you can make some pretty good money based on that. So you can make about 68.92% return on your risk. So if you are bullish, look at buying a long call, or vice versa. If you're bearish, you can always do kind of buy a put. But if you're wanting to make some serious money in the market, that's what you do. But one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.